What is up, my Ruby Tuesdays, and welcome to another video. In today's video, I am flipping my Kraken. I've got my custom orange and black buoy Kraken here that I just absolutely love the heck out of, and I wanted to talk about the Kraken specifically today. You see, the Kraken is a weird balisong from a historical perspective, and it's an interesting product that I think is sort of a, how do I put this? Victim of its own success, maybe? The Kraken is one of the best balisongs ever made. Like, in terms of its historical impact, its flipping capability, and everything. The Kraken is, in my opinion, easily one of the best balisongs ever made. Okay? And I think that gets lost a lot because nowadays there are so many balisongs that have taken after the Kraken that it has become sort of less impressive. But really, I think that shouldn't be the case at all because the Kraken only came out in 2019. And to be clear, Squid Industries had made aluminum channel balisongs before the Kraken, okay, but they hadn't made any aluminum channel live blade balisongs. And most of what they had created before the Kraken was like the Squid trainer, right? It was a on-washers system with a trainer blade, and that's like sort of the situation that you were dealing with. The Kraken is different, okay? The V1 Kraken is a extremely weird and interesting balisong that we made a review of a very long time ago, and I do really like it, but it's evolved even further now with like this one I think is a V2.5. There's a lot of really good versions of the Kraken now that have come out and iterated on what its design can be, but at the same time, the core design of what the Kraken is, which is pretty square handles made out of machined billet aluminum and a live blade of some kind, either Tonto or buoy, and now they actually have a willhirsch blade that's also quite good. The willhirsch is really, really good, and it flips extremely well too, and it gives it that sort of classic, Benchmade 42 look, which is always really, really cool. Gotta love that. By the way, if you didn't know, the willhirsch blade profile, which, most people know of, the willhirsch blade was actually invented for balisongs. Like, the willhirsch blade profile was created for balisongs originally by Jody Sampson all the way back in the 1980s. So that's pretty cool. It seems like a large enough like blade profile that like, oh yeah, of course it's just something that existed for a long time and then was put onto balisongs. But no, it's the other way around. It was made for balisongs, and then other knives that have a willhirsch profile, they got it from Jody Sampson's original designs. And the willhirsch profile is based off of swords that existed before it, but the actual like, blade profile of something that could fit on a pocket knife being willhirsch, it was created for the balisong. But anywho, that's off topic. What is on topic is the Kraken and how good it is, and why it's important from a historical perspective. Because there were, and I've claimed that Squid Industries is kind of the inventor of channel aluminum live blade balisongs, which I still believe is technically true, even if it is not literally true. In the most literal sense, it is not true because of two major factors. Number one being that Benchmade, back when they were releasing the 4X series and stuff like that, they did release aluminum channel balisongs. But the problem with those is that most of those were special edition gold class or whatever knives that were like not readily available and not made for flipping specifically. They were collector's items. They usually had handle inserts like carbon fiber or G10 inserts, and they just were not made for flipping the way that this is. Okay, they were really a different thing at the end of the day. So technically, in terms of material, yes, but in terms of functionality, no. And then, alongside that, there's also the Tachyon 3 from Microtech. And the Microtech Tachyon 3 is one of the most interesting balisongs ever released. Not a good balisong by many metrics. The worst balisongs I've ever flipped really have been Tachyon 3s, like the ones that have been the most fucked up that people have brought to me. They're usually a Tachyon 3. It's wild how janky those balisongs got over time. But the reason for that was because they made two models. They made one model that was kind of nicer that used titanium, which I'm honestly glad I never bought. I really wanted to buy it back in the day, and I just didn't, and mainly because I didn't have the money, and I'm glad I didn't because it would have been a waste of money. It was not a good flipper. It was crazy at the time because it was channel titanium, but it was not a good flipper, and the problem is that they used tang pins on them. And especially, like, it kind of did this on the titanium version because they were not using high-grade titanium, so it did slowly eat into the titanium, the tang pins, and over time you would lose a fair bit of your handle gap. But the aluminum version, oh my god. There's a reason that Zen pins are so important on aluminum channel balisongs, right? These Zen pins are hardened steel, and they're interfaced directly with the aluminum in a way where they absorb the shock of the blade relatively well and distribute it over a large surface area. So there's not like a direct, distinct, hard impact from the hardened steel into the soft aluminum, all right? That is spread out by the Zen pins, and so that's how that works. On the Tachyon 3, it was an aluminum channel balisong with tang pins, and those tang pins, as far as I'm aware, were hardened steel. They were hardened with the blade. And so every Tachyon 3 that I've seen in any sort of recency, like any Tachyon 3 I've seen in quite some time, all of them have terrible slap because the handles just slap together. They just do. Like, it just happened over time. And that is because the tang pin literally eats its way into the aluminum over a long enough period of time. Like, it just happens. There's nothing to be done about it. That's just the way it worked. And so, yeah, the Tachyon 3, not only was it a bad flipper, it had a really weird balance because the aluminum handles were not matched to the weight of the blade. Like, the weight of the Tachyon 3's blade was heavy because it was made to be balanced off of channel titanium handles. So the channel aluminum handles were too light, and therefore it had a very wonky and weird balance. And then the final thing as well is that the Tachyon 3 had bearings. And as far as I remember, it did not have raced bearings. And so, once again, aluminum is a soft material. Bearings are made out of hardened steel or ceramic, usually, which are two very hard materials, especially ceramic. And so, over time, once again, the bearings would literally eat into the aluminum and make it unflippably bad tolerances. Most of the Tachyon 3s that I see nowadays can walk. And by that, I mean they have so much play that they literally can, like, walk, you know? So that's bad. So those are the two major examples of aluminum channel balisongs that existed before the Kraken, but neither of them made an impact the way the Kraken did. And so what I mean by Squid Industries invented the aluminum channel balisong is that Squid Industries invented what we know today as an aluminum channel balisong. There's a reason that every single aluminum channel balisong, be it the Kraken or the Vulp or like all the stuff from Nibali's, all the stuff from Marcolo, all the stuff from everybody, there's a reason that it all follows this design principle. Relatively square handles, relatively well-machined aluminum on bushings with two pivots. Like, it is such a distinct thing that has obviously had such a massive impact on the overall community. Like, when you go and look at all of the offerings, they are all Kraken alikes, right? None of them are Tachyon 3 alikes, okay? Other than, like, literally Tachyon 3 clones, which are even worse quality than the Tachyon 3 itself, which is already bad quality. Like, all of them are based off of the idea of the Kraken, not any of these other ideas. And there's a reason for that. It's because the Kraken did it so well the first time that it changed the game. It changed how the most popular balisongs would be made ever since. And it's crazy the impact that this one balisong had on the hobby. It really changed everything. And so I do think it is important to look at the Kraken with that sort of, I don't know, mindset, right? That like, yeah, this is a very important balisong that did a lot of important things. And to this day, it is still a fantastic performing balisong. I know that not everybody likes the Kraken, but I think most people like the Kraken, and I certainly love mine. I really think that the Kraken is a fantastic balisong that has a lot going for it, and people should be giving it as much as it deserves, because it deserves a lot. It changed everything in terms of how balisongs were constructed and where the actual hobby would end up going, right? Like, this is a very, very important balisong. And so, I don't know, it's just really interesting to consider how its existence changed everything. The fact that it's latchless too, this is a live blade channel aluminum balisong that was latchless. Neither the Tachyon 3 nor the Benchmade stuff released latchless. This is inherently latchless, and I think that was an important factor as well in both its construction and its adaptation. So, yeah. Anyways, that's just a little rant about the Kraken and why I think it is a honestly fantastic balisong that deserves a lot of praise, because I just think that's true. I just think that is inherently true. It is a fantastic balisong that deserves a lot of praise. So, good job, Squid, on making this beast, and you know, keep up the good work, I guess. I love to see it. I do like to see them, you know, continuously trying different stuff, like with the swordfish. I think the swordfish is a weird one because, like, it's not everybody's cup of tea, but the people that like the swordfish really like the swordfish, and it's the same thing with the Nautilus, right? Like, the Nautilus, I do like the Nautilus. I don't like it nearly as much as Brandon does, and I don't dislike it nearly as much as Ethan does, but I find it really interesting that there is that gamut of people, where it's like the people who really like the Nautilus, they like the Nautilus. Like, that thing is a really, really good balisong for them. And so that means that Squid is doing something right, because you can't please everybody, but if you can really please some specific people with your product, then I think that's always a good goal. So, yeah. Anyways, that's pretty much it for this video. I just wanted to talk about that because that's been on my mind a little bit, and yeah, thought it'd be neat to bring up to y'all. So, thanks for watching, and I guess I'll see y'all later. Peace.